there. Thank you.
Can I just go back to your discussion with the chairperson about paragraph 24 of your statement, where you say your explanation of that paragraph of what you say there is that you were explaining, you are speaking to after you arrived there, what happened after you arrived. You have your statement there, paragraph 24.
I'm still checking it. Page 24.
Page 8. That's in your statement.
Oh, okay.
Page 8.
I'm there, Commissioner.
Yes. So the answer that you give to the chairperson cannot be correct, because you open that paragraph by saying primary responsibility of the first responding officer. So you're not the first responding officer. Makhane is the first responding officer. And then you say all of that was done. After saying, because that opening paragraph is about the responsibilities of the responding officer. That's what they must do. They must take control and secure the crime scene. 2, ensure integrity and originality. That whole list is what the first responder must do.
Correct.
Now, you say, if without your explanation, reading this paragraph, you are saying that's what Makhane did. That's what that paragraph conveys. And so your answer to the chairperson that you're speaking only to the period after you arrived cannot be correct, cannot be the truth, in fact. The truth is you are conveying what Makhane did on that scene, and that is false, because he did not do any of that. And you had no way of knowing what he did when you got onto the scene.
Correct, Commissioner.
Yes, so it is false, firstly, what you represent in that whole paragraph.
Correct.
2, even if one were to entertain your explanation, which is you're speaking about after you arrived, you did not do any of that. You did not ensure the integrity and originality of evidence and exhibits. You found them on the van and you did nothing about them.
Correct, Commissioner.
Right?
Yes.
You didn't ask why, at least in your statement, you don't say, I asked why are they on the van? Where were they? You don't say that in the statement, but importantly, you didn't do B. Right?
Correct, Commissioner.
Investigate and process the crime scene thoroughly and undisturbed. The scene was already disturbed, so you're misleading when you say that's what happened. The first responder investigated and processed the crime scene thoroughly and undisturbed. And the rest of it, record facts and events properly. You did not do any of that. You tell us you took a statement from Jolene. You asked questions and started taking a statement. You're not even sure whether you completed that statement. You do say that.
Correct, Commissioner.
Yes. So none of that which is listed in paragraph 24A to G did you do personally.
Correct.
So you're not. So your answer. That's another reason why your explanation that 24 is about accounting for what happened or what you did once you got there, it's not correct. It's a false representation of what happened.
I agree.
And it still raises the question, why would you mislead about something like this? And leads to, until you give a proper explanation, it leads reasonably to the conclusion that, well, you were trying to cover up. For Makhane, whatever you knew about what he did, you were covering up for him. Do you want to comment?
I agree with Commissioner Baloyi with all the points, but I'm honestly saying cover up. It was not in my mind when I wrote this.
Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Maybe now that we are dealing with that first responder, Warrant Officer Makhane, you say in your statement that Warrant Officer Makhane handed over the scene to you. That's another misrepresentation. It did not happen at all. And the question again is, why would you say that when it did not happen? And it did not happen because Warrant Officer Makhane told us what happened. He said Mashaba was in charge of the scene. And we had a lengthy discussion with him about that, and he accepted that. He said, Mashaba was the person responsible. And Makhane was asked the question, you were the first responder, you're SAPS, and you have a national instruction that tells you what do you do as SAPS when you arrive there. And he said, I accept. I didn't do what I should have done. Mashaba was in charge of the scene. He could not have handed up the scene to you. For that reason, again, that's a false misrepresentation. By you, or, and most unlikely, by Makhane when he says Mashaba was in charge of the scene. So one of you is not telling the truth. But we have the version of the first responder who says Mashaba was in charge of the scene. So it is false that he handed over the scene to you, because he couldn't hand it over to you if he wasn't in charge of it.
Commissioner, I hear what, and I agree with what you're saying. That's what he said, but the scene was handed to me by Mohana as the one who phoned me to come to the scene. As to why he denied being in charge of the scene, I don't know.
Yes, he called you to the scene. There's no question about that. He called you, and you tell us in a statement that he said, I want backup. Nowhere in your statement do you say to us, he called me and said, I want you to come and take control of the scene. So he's called and he said he wants backup. Now you are at the scene, and you say he handed the scene over to you. And all I'm putting to you is, he couldn't, if on his own version, he was not in charge of that scene, then he had no scene to hand over to you. He couldn't hand over to you. And either you or him are lying to the commission.
Can you please indulge me on the same topic? You said somewhere in your statement that in terms of the regulations, and you say this in the context of you lodging a complaint against the IPID officers and General Khan, those who came after you. And you say, regardless of the rank, if you arrive at a scene and you find a police officer there, you don't just give them instructions, you don't just take over from them. Is that correct?
Correct.
I'm not misrepresenting what you said. And you say because they did that while you were already there, they acted improperly and they defeated the ends of justice.
Correct, Commissioner.
But my difficulty with that is that when you arrived at the scene, the SAPS vehicle that we see on page 109 of the Stein exhibits was already there, and there were already 2 uniformed police officers in a police vehicle who were there. And yet you did exactly the same thing. You bypassed them and purported to take over the scene. Isn't that unprocedural? Because you found them there. You should have let them tell you what is going on, what they found when they got there, and they are the ones who would have then handed over to you if they saw fit to do so. Isn't that correct?
No, Commissioner. What happens is the first member on the scene, we agree it was Mohana, SAPS member, it was Mohana. So if it was supposed to be the Boyden's members to hand over the scene to me, it would have been Mohana handed over the scene to them and then to me. So hence I'm saying...
Were you not listening to Commissioner Baloyi when she says, Mohana has already said it was not his scene, it was Mashaba's scene. So if anybody needed to hand over, then it would be Mashaba. But because Mashaba, the prescripts of SAPS don't apply to him, the officers who were there, who were in uniform, who were responding to a complaint that both Mashaba and Mohana are criminals who are impersonating police officers and they are trying to hijack a Scania truck. SAPS officers went there to prevent that. When you arrive there, you find a police van with SAPS officers presumably in uniform. They don't hand over to you what they are investigating because they are there investigating a hijacking attempt of a truck.
Correct.
Right?
Correct, yes.
Now, as far as they are concerned, that's the scene, the hijacking of a truck. And the suspects are Mohane and Mashaba. But when you get there, you bypass those police officers and you start doing whatever it is that you were doing. It's not clear because you did nothing